Drake dropped another song. And in that song, I'm not gonna play it, he makes fun of Kendrick for getting touched as a kid. But that never happened to Kendrick. It happened to Kendrick's mom.
Because Drake wrote a whole diss on the misinterpretation of this song. Going back and listening to this song is the perfect response. Drake misinterpreting this song that's deep emotionally but not very complicated lyrically makes you think, did he write any of his lyrics? Because if you can't comprehend the meaning of this song here, there's no way you're writing those 3-layered, 4-layered, I get girl, I get money bars. How are you doing that? Unless you're just emotionally disconnected. And if you're at your age and you're this emotionally disconnected, that's even bigger diss.
Y'all, Drake is really in shambles right now, and he's out here trying to distract everyone from those PDF file accusations by claiming that Kendrick Lamar was SA'd by someone in his family. Now, I don't know why Drake thought this would help his case, because it did exactly the opposite. Because how are you going to make fun of someone else for allegedly being a victim while trying to defend yourself from allegations of being a victimizer? But that's not all. Turns out, Drake totally misinterpreted one of Kendrick's songs where he talks about trauma in his family and created this false narrative about Kendrick being an SA victim. So basically, Drake just proved once again that he lacks comprehension of so many things: race, metaphors in rap lyrics, and how power/privilege work. And now fans are saying that Kendrick was spot on when he called Drake a colonizer. But what exactly was Drake trying to say about Kendrick and the alleged SA trauma in his family? Let's dissect and break this down.
The same diss track, he says that he tricked Kendrick into believing that he had an 11-year-old daughter and that Kendrick didn't do any due diligence or didn't do any research or nothing. You didn't do any research on who got a and you used a real happen in a dish. Oh my God, you're
So Kendrick Lamar has got the whole rap world buzzing after he straight up accused Drake and his OVO crew of being S-Trap in his savage diss track called Not Like Us, where he references Drake's album Certified Lover Boy, calling Drake and his crew certified PDF files. Now, Drake didn't waste any time hitting back at Kendrick's diss, and he dropped a track called The Heart Part 6, where he denies Kendrick's accusations. But here's where it gets wild. Drake decided to bring up Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown and those sketchy rumors about him supposedly messing with her. The thing is, Kendrick never even mentioned Millie in his track. So did Drake just snitch on himself? Drake makes a reference to Kendrick's wife Whitney, saying, "Only effing with Whitneys, not Millie Bobby Browns. I'd never look twice at no teenager." Drake then brushes off those PDF accusations against him, basically saying he's too famous for that mess, and if he was guilty of anything, he'd already be in prison by now.
Fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me. You killing me, man!
But here's where it gets even more twisted. Drake totally misinterprets Kendrick's track Mother I Sober from his album Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, where Kendrick dives into the topic of SA trauma in his family. Drake takes this and tries to flip it, accusing Kendrick of projecting his own trauma onto him. But here's the thing, if Drake had any media smarts, he'd know Mother I Sober isn't about Kendrick's own experiences with that stuff at all. Now, there's a narrative I'm seeing from Drake that he didn't misunderstand Mother I Sober, but that he simply doesn't believe Kendrick when he says it because he's painting him as a liar. But Drake's exact words on The Heart Part 6 were, "That's the one record where you say you got molested." Now, if Drake or his ghostwriter said something to the effect of, "I listened to Mother I Sober and found out you got touched," I could see this line of thinking working. But Drake very explicitly says that it's the record where Kendrick himself states that he was touched. He is quoting Kendrick here and still getting it wrong. So either Drake or his ghosts are really bad writers, or it's just not that deep and he misread the song. Also, how gross is Drake for using this particular narrative to defend himself from accusations of being a PDF file? Drake being exposed for allegedly women and then making fun of SA victims makes him look either really guilty or really stupid, or both. So what is Mother I Sober really about? And if he made this mistake on purpose, what was he even trying to say? Mother I Sober stands out as a particularly moving track on Kendrick's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers record, as it explores the profound impact of intergenerational trauma. Kendrick recounts the experience of how his mother didn't believe him when he denied being victimized by his cousin, only to later admit that she herself was a survivor of SA. Kendrick raps, family ties, they accused my cousin. Did he touch you, Kendrick? Never lied, but no one believed me when I said he didn't. And I asked my mama why she didn't believe me when I told her no. I never knew she was violated in Chicago. I'm sympathetic. Told me that she feared it happened to me for my protection. Though it never happened, she wouldn't agree. The aftermath of this trauma led Kendrick to develop an unhealthy view of women and lust addiction, resulting in infidelity, as evidenced by his relationship with his fiancée, Whitney. He raps, now I'm affected. 20 years later, trauma has resurfaced. Amplified as I write this song. I shiver cause I'm nervous. I made it home. 7 years of tour, chasing manhood. But Whitney's gone. By the time you hear this song, she did all she could. All those women gave me superpowers, what I thought I lacked. So Kendrick knows from his memories that he was never SA'd. But since his mom was SA'd, when Kendrick was young, she constantly asks her son about it. And this makes Kendrick wonder if something may have happened to him too. This made Kendrick grow up feeling insecure about himself, since his mom believed he was SA'd. So to make up for this insecurity, he started getting involved with many different women to feel like more of a man. And this led to the infidelity in his relationship with Whitney. In this way, the song demonstrates how trauma can move through families. Kendrick's mom passed the trauma from her SA onto Kendrick, which manifested in lust addiction and infidelity for Kendrick. Kendrick also goes on to address the wider issue of the historical trauma of the formerly enslaved, as well as SA in Black communities, with these cutting lines. I pray our children don't inherit me in feelings I attract. A conversation not being addressed in Black families. The devastation, haunting generations in humanity. They raped others, then they raped our sisters. Then they made us watch, then made us rape each other. Psychotic torture between our lives. We ain't recovered. Still living as victims in the public eyes who pledge allegiance. Every other brother has been compromised. I know the secrets every other rapper SA'd. I see him daily burying their pain in chains and tattoos. So listen close before you start to pass judgment on how he moved. Learn how he coped whenever his uncle had to walk him from school. His anger grows deep in misogyny. This is post-traumatic. Black families and sodomy. Today is still active. But Mother I Sober still ends with a message of hope and resilience in overcoming trauma within Black communities. So I set free myself from all the guilt that I thought I made. So I set free my mother, all the hurt that she titled shame. So I set free my cousin, chaotic, from my mother's pain. I hope Hakeem made you proud, cause you ain't die in vain. So I set free the power of Whitney. May she heal us all. So I set free our children. May good karma keep them with God. So I set free the hearts filled with hatred. Keep our bodies sacred. As I set free all you abusers, this is transformation. Finally, there's an interlude spoken by Kendrick's fiancée, Whitney, where she addresses Kendrick and their child, saying, you did it. I'm proud of you. You broke a generational curse. Say thank you, Dad. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Mommy. Thank you, brother. So Drake, or whoever he paid to write the Heart Part 6, either didn't really listen to Mother I Sober, or they tried to suggest that Kendrick lied and experienced SA. But if Drake is saying Kendrick lied, that means he's also questioning Kendrick's mother's experience as well. And this gives even more weight to this line on Kendrick's diss track, Euphoria, where he predicted that Drake would use Mr. Morale to push false narratives about Kendrick's family. On Euphoria, Kendrick raps, I calculate you're not as calculated. I can even predict your angle, fabricating stories on the family front cause you heard Mr. Morale. So by completely misunderstanding Mother I Sober, Drake did exactly what Kendrick predicted he would do. In the Heart Part 6, Drake tries to deflect allegations of being a PDF file onto Kendrick by falsely claiming that Kendrick was SA'd and implying that it's the reason for Kendrick's fixation on the topic. And this distortion of events is not only false, but it also highlights Drake's inability to grasp the deeper narratives and metaphors present in Kendrick's lyrics. After all, Kendrick said it himself on Meet the Grams, guess integrity is lost when the metaphors don't reach you. Fans are now also saying that Drake's misinterpretation of Mother I Sober further proves that Kendrick was right when he labeled Drake as a colonizer on Not Like Us. Kendrick's never been shy about taking shots at Drake over the years and alluding to Drake being a culture vulture. Drake's fans were quick to chalk this up to Drake being biracial, and they called out Kendrick for being a hypocrite because he's engaged to a biracial woman. But see, Kendrick's issue with Drake isn't about him being mixed or light-skinned. It's more about how Drake engages, or maybe doesn't engage, with the struggles of Black communities in the US, particularly the struggles faced by Black people in impoverished neighborhoods, dealing with issues like gangs, and DV. And these are the things Kendrick explores on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and on his other albums. So when Kendrick sees Drake so-called profiting off his proximity to Black American rappers who actually experienced this type of struggle and basically cosplaying a Black American when it's convenient for him, well, of course this gets under Kendrick's skin. Kendrick's fans are now saying that this is not about Drake being biracial, because J. Cole is biracial too, but he's from the culture. Drake, on the other hand, is just cosplaying the culture. Ultimately, Kendrick suggests that Drake's detachment from Black culture, specifically Black culture in the US, and his exploitation of the culture for profit align him more with a colonizer mindset than with genuine participants.
You were surprised Drake is being called out as a culture vulture? You haven't been really paying attention to what's been happening within Black culture over the past few years. Black people have become very aware and very vocal and verbal about gatekeeping the culture and revoking these invites to the cookout that were being given away for free. Not only being given away for free, but being given to people who were mimicking aspects of Black culture, being able to do Black dances, being able to rap, these silly, oh, she gets an invite to the cookout. Here's where Drake comes into play. Yes, he is a biracial man with a Black American father. However, Drake is not of Black American culture. Drake has no cultural literacy or understanding of Black culture or respect for Black history, Black culture, specifically the Black American experience, which is why he was able to get on a track and use slavery, American slavery, as a bar.
As for Drake misinterpreting Mother I Sober and falsely claiming that Kendrick was SA'd to deflect from his own allegations, fans are saying this just makes Drake look guilty as hell. One fan said, "I remember R. Kelly addressing his accusations too. Being defensive is not helping Drake right now, and that Mother I Sober bar isn't helping his cause too. Because Drake addressed it, he's now guilty when there's a video of him addressing a teenager on stage. That's some R. Kelly-ish." And someone else added, "Mother I Sober was an extremely heartfelt song about surviving generational S trauma in the Black community, and Drake turned it into a punchline for his amusement to deflect from his own accusations. He's telling you who he is." But let me know how you feel about Drake misinterpreting Kendrick's song. Is he trying to distract us from those PDF file accusations? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and then check out this next video.